We are looking at my 2016 Chevy Sonic, and the problem I have is the its outside air temperature is not functioning, and the reason is the grill itself is broken and the holder is not holding it in place. I have a new grill. It cost me about $29 on Amazon, and I need to remove the front wrap in order to replace the grill. There are a number of these plastic plugs. I've removed a few of them already using the plastic removal tool. You don't need it, but it makes life easy. So we're going to undo the upper side first, then jack it up, put it on jack stands, and prepare it both to remove the front grill and change the oil. To remove the pins, if you look, there is a space where you can slip the tool underneath and then simply pop it up and then work the tool under the pin and it is out, and continue that way until you've removed all four up top, five. Yeah, there are 6 of them, I'm sorry. There are 6 of the pins on the top side, plus a few screws that we will, and bolts that we will get to. Once you've removed the pins, you have 4 bolts to be removed. They are 10 millimeter. And go ahead and take those out, put them in the magnetic tray so they don't get lost. Next we have some Torx head screws that are probably going to have to come out as well. Here is a little tip that I am just learning. Pay attention when you take these out where they came from. The plugs that are here on the top are a longer shaft, and if you don't put the correct plug in, you may not be able to push the keeper down. Like that. So I have to find the right one for this one because it's too short, and I thought that was my long one. These cars have a lot of Torx head screws, E-Torx bolts. The E-Torx bolt looks like this, and then they basically snap together. So purchasing a set of these tools is not necessary, but it makes life a whole lot easier if you're going to get into the dash or other areas. They're not expensive. I purchased all of mine from local auto parts stores. Using a Torx 20 bit, I will remove these 3 Torx head screws, and then I will turn towards these 3 plastic clips and remove them before I come in and after I get those removed, then I have to remove the Torx screw here that's kind of hidden. And there are also screws underneath. Let's see if we can get down and see where they are. Okay, so we have pieces under here that need to be removed. There's a screw here and a screw over here. I hope you can see that because I can't see it in the camera. And those need to be removed. Then I should be able to remove or dislodge the inner fender cover. Once that's done, then there's a cover here that needs to be removed, and of course the other side has to be disassembled on the inner fender liner as well. Now we're going to see how successful we are at showing you how to remove the inner fender liner. Come on. By the way, that's a really nice light. Okay, that pretty much gets it out of the way, which is all that's really needed. We still have a screw up here, which still needs to come out. Put it in the magnet tray. And so the left side is pretty much prepared. I have removed the front wheel. This is the left. I will also have to remove the fender liner here, and there are a series of screws here, as well as one that is hidden right there that need to be removed. And there are 3 of the plastic plugs that need to be removed as well to remove the fender liner. Now I'm ready to go underneath, and we have a couple 10 millimeters here and down there, and we have some Torx 20s running around in a few places, and then we can slide this back and remove this piece. That's our next step. We are under the car now, and what we're going to do is remove this panel here. I see there's a plastic plug here. There are 2 13 millimeter or half-inch bolts, and I've already removed 2 Torx T20 screws, one on each side. So I'll go ahead and let's see if we can remove this bolt. And the other one. So all I have to do is remove the plastic which is recessed, makes it a little harder. These tools are not expensive. This car basically snaps together. So I would highly recommend, if you're going to work on it much, you consider getting a set of these tools for yourself. They really make life easier. I've used screwdrivers a lot, and I've enjoyed these tools since I got them. Okay, so that comes out. And I'm going to have to put the camera down to pull this out. All right, we have removed the panel. In addition to the two T20 screws and the 13mm bolts and the plastic plug, there is also here in front a T20 on the front side of the air dam. Now there are two fasteners remaining. They are Phillips head. There's one here, and there is another one over here. Get out of my light, and I'll remove those, and that should be all of the fasteners required to hold the front to the front wrap to the car. And then I need to deal with separating the front wrap from the body, and then we can lift it off. After a lot of trouble, a lot of work, and a lot of careful studying on the web, which did no good at all, I have learned that there are 3 tabs in here. You can see one there, and supposed to be one up in there. You have to reach in with preferably a thin plastic nylon pry bar and push those tabs down to clear these holes here in the bumper. Trying hard not to break them, as you can see has happened on 2 of them. This is not the first time this bumper's been off, and I don't think that I broke the ones that are broken. I was pretty careful. Let me grab my chair and let's go around the other side. The other side, the thin tool is the one that works best. The other side, however, if you can see in there, appears to have hot glue in it, and it is being a real problem. So I'm going to work on this a while, and if we can get it loose, we'll have the front bumper off. Some yahoo has obviously hot glued this fender, despite the fact Carfax says it's never been wrecked. Somebody removed this fender for whatever reason and broke it, and they hot glued it. The black tabs you see on top go around, and the hot glue goes to the bottom to a piece that is pop riveted to the fender. I need to find a way to melt that hot glue. And to do it, I'm going to try to use my soldering station. I have a soldering iron, and if I need it, I have a 400-degree air blower, which will melt solder and destroy circuit boards if you use it incorrectly. And we're going to see what happens, trying not to blister the paint. And I may end up having to get a new piece for the fender. We'll see. But that's where we're going to go with it. After careful heating of the hot glue, using my blowgun, which is currently cooling off. It normally runs at 400 degrees. I have it set for the lowest possible airflow. And I have managed to loosen and remove the hot glue adhesion for the first two areas. Now I have to get the last area, hopefully without blistering the paint or ruining the fender. And we'll get this off, and I'll probably have to order a new part that goes right in here on the fender. It pop rivets to the fender to hold this all together. And then we'll have to figure out how to make the fender so it'll hold together. So I'll be back in a little bit, and we'll see if I have successfully managed to release it. It's almost off. Well, it all fell off finally. And I see that here we go. This is still the hot glue on the underside of the fender. I was finally able to heat enough. As I heated it, I chipped it off. There's still a little hot glue there. We'll see if we can save this part. If we can't, I'll have to order a new one. But now we get to figure out how to repair the fender. What I'm here to replace is this grill section right here. So we'll have to explore that. There is the outside air temperature sensor. I have a new grill, and I have a new one of these in the grill already. So it looks like we have a couple of clips to take the long bar off, and then we'll have to carefully unsnap the old grill, and we can put the new one in. The upper grill is in fine condition and should not be any problem. Now I'm going to remove the clips. I'll figure out how to do one, and then I will demonstrate with the other. So we'll be back in a bit. Well, we're back here at this back plate. Removing it is, as you can see, I've removed one clip. And removing it is not that difficult. If you take a small screwdriver and insert it into these two spaces, two of them, squeeze them together, and off it comes. Now we can just lift this piece off and set it aside and see what we're looking at now. So we have to figure out how to bend these tabs and loosen the grill. I'm sure that isn't any more fun than I've had so far. So I will get those done and we'll have the grill out. So back to these connectors. I've found that if you put a screwdriver in, like so, if I can do this, and push, you can push it in. Sorry for the video. And push them out. So I will continue and we'll pull it apart. Here's the new grill, which came from Amazon. If I remember right, it was about $29. And there is what's left of the old grill. You can see where it's all broken up, where the air temperature sensor goes. And on the new one, I have already installed the air temperature sensor. That's a new one. And the old one, well, the new one will not get the license plate frame. So all I have to do is snap it back in and put the cover back on. And we'll see if we can get it back together. The part that I was afraid I might have to buy new is actually in pretty darn good shape. You can see the 3 tabs here that are supposed to hold the fender when all the pieces of the fender are intact. They're not. But I think the bolt back here will hold everything together for me. I hope. If not, we will see what we do along the way. And there's the water pump reservoir for the windshield. And the pump itself just snaps in and plugs in. Fairly easy to change. It was something I had to do earlier on the car for shortly after I got it. And here we see the final assembly. There's the outside air temperature sensor plugged in. And its harness goes over here, where it plugs into the wiring from the car. We have the clips back on this panel. And everything is done, complete. And now we start to reassemble in reverse. And now we have the new grill installed in the front wrap. All it had to do was set down in there and make sure everything was lined up, and a few taps around the edges of it, and it snapped in and it's installed. Now I just hook it all up to the wiring harness and put it back together. Hopefully we will figure out the left fender issue. The grill is now lightly attached. I have chosen to put 2 10mm bolts in the top to hold that and locate it. And that way it won't be falling while I work with other parts of it, as I put all the bolts and everything back together, and we will see how the left side goes. Alright, we have it all back together. I found the clip that goes here in the left fender where this joint comes together, and that's what it's going to look like. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than it was as far as the way it goes together. There's just right in this area, there are no clips or anything holding it now. And they had a 10mm bolt in there that didn't belong there. I found a little slip nut that I put in there and put a screw in it, and apparently everything fell out, and I had enough screws when I got done to fill everything. So it's all done, put back together, and ready to change the oil and put it on the road with a nice new grill.